Hello again, Access enthusiasts. We made a video previously on this channel about importing data into Access from Excel. And of course, the idea is when you have a new database or you're putting in information from an old database, 99, I don't know if it's 99% of the time, but most of the time, you're not going to be sitting there in Access typing in new data. You're going to be, it's almost always, you're going to be bringing in information from outside. So we did a previous video on how to do this with Excel, but of course, what if your data is not in Excel format? Or, the demo we did with Excel could certainly work with text files. Maybe we'll do a video on that in the future, but it's a very similar process. Now, what if your data is not in Excel format? What if it's just out there on the web? What if it's in a PDF file? What do you do in those cases? We had a client recently here. I had a client recently here who we had to bring in a lot of data from outside. It was a government agency that had to send us information, and we were getting information via PDFs and JPEGs, and how the heck did we put all that in there? Well, JPEGs we're not going to get to today, because JPEGs, you need something called optical character recognition software, or OCR. We're not going to do anything quite that sophisticated today. I've pre-tested the data sources that I've used, and we're going to use two data sources. One is just from a website that's in a table, and another one from a fairly well-formatted PDF. So let's start with the website example. So I'm going to take we're going to import, we're going to make an Access database. We're going to import the roster for the 2021 Seattle Kraken NHL hockey team. Okay, so they're my local hockey team, so, whatever. It's my video, my choice, right? Okay. So I haven't even opened Access yet because we're not at that stage. We will open Excel. Let's open Excel, first of all. Because I find the best way to do this, we still use Excel as the middleman, and I think it makes a very good intermediary, if you will. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try taking this file and dumping it into an Excel. Now, I chose this type of data set for a very important, for a few reasons. I mean, first of all, hopefully is interest to a lot of people. A lot of people like sports and sports stats and things like that. But there's a lot of different types of data in here. You got pictures, you got text for the names, you got numbers, you got text characters. Height and weight can be very tricky. Well, height can be very tricky. In fact, it's kind of depending on the source. If the height is formatted in a certain way, when you import this to Excel, it can come out as a date. It'll format this as Excel will read this as June 2nd, June 4th, May 9th. I don't know what it would read this one. June 0? Maybe it would just be June 1. I don't know. But because the apostrophe is read as a month and the quote mark is read as a date, unless you go into a special format. But without further ado, let's just go at this, and I'm not going to bother with those headers here. I'm just going to highlight everyone here. All right. And I'm going to do copy, right-click copy, make sure it's on. I like to make sure it's on a copy that's highlighted. All right. And we're going to go to the Excel spreadsheet that we just started. Maximize that. And let's hit paste and see what happened. I did go through this one time before the video, but sometimes unpredictable things can happen. Okay, so we got pretty fortunate here. It came in pretty nicely. There are some changes we're going to need to make, and just like on the Excel spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet example, that was mainly to show you things that can go wrong with certain data types, like sometimes dates don't come in correctly. But this, okay, so let's organize this a little bit. We have player, number, position, shooting. I'm going to take out the shoots right hand or left hand, because that doesn't apply to all players. It doesn't apply to goalies. So I'm just personal preference. I'm going to take that out. Height, weight, birth date, and birthplace. It looks like this first set of data is good. I'm going to just little housekeeping here. I'm going to center these columns so that they look a little better. Okay, it doesn't really, we're going to import this into Access, so this is Excel is not the final resting place for this. Okay, so we got some other data here for defense players, and let's see. Now these columns don't line up because we still have the shooting here, so we're going to delete that too. Now the number is okay. There's no position here because, well, these are all defense, so we're assuming they're all defensemen. So when we import this, we want a column for position. We're not going to import this. That has no place to go. So I'm just going to put D's down all of here. And let's see. Oh, it looks like, hang on a second. Okay, column D is not being used here. So what I'm going to do is, it looks like everything else is in order. What I'm going to do is highlight column D. I'm going to do delete and then shift cells left. That'll just take everything in. It looks like it all lines up now. Okay, so now I can just delete these so we have everything in there. Okay. Goalies, again, I'm going to take these and I'm going to shift them over one. This time I'm going to select everything else. I'm going to say insert, shift cells right. So I'll just move everything. Oh, you know what? I want to move it one to the right, and because I highlighted 4 cells, it moves them 4 to the right. So only want one. It can be a little counterintuitive, I guess. Okay, there we go. All right, and I'll put G for goalie here. And you have pound signs here just because I think the column isn't wide enough. There we go. Okay. Should we do something about the date format? We see the European date format here. I don't know. It might be a good idea to put this in date format. It'll make it easier for import. There we go. We have an extra header row here. Okay. I think the rest of this looks pretty good. It recognizes, at least it recognizes height as a text string, which doesn't always work, but it worked this time. Okay, so we have our data in a position that we can import. I'm going to save this here as import. And I'm going to name the sheet because we're going to bring another sheet and we're going to use that for our second import, which might be a little more challenging. And that's going to be, so we're going to take just a second example here from a PDF. Now this is a PDF we found of population of various, or it looks like all the countries in the world. So a country with a population of 11. Interesting. Okay. Must make presidential elections pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here, and I don't think we're going to have quite the same luck. Let's just highlight all of this like we did for the example. Already you can see we're going to have problems because we have page footers and page numbers. But let's just do the whole, we'll do up to here. I'm not going to go to the world part. And let's go into Excel and paste, and this is not going to work. At least with the hockey players, it recognized, because it was already in a table format. And this is in a table format too, I assume. I don't know where that PDF came from, whether it was a Word document that got exported to PDF or what have you. But you can see this is no good because everything's in one column. Okay, well, there are a few ways we could get around this. One way would be to save this as a text file. As a matter of fact, let's see both ways. We got time. Let's open up Notepad and let's paste it into Notepad as well. And I'm just going to save it as population. Now what we could do is we could go into Excel and we could do File, Open, and we could go to that folder. And it's only showing, yeah, we got to all files, population.txt. Okay, now you see what it's doing here, and this isn't really going to work all that well. I mean, basically we can say Delimited, fixed width. We don't want fixed width because that would mean every column is the same width. I certainly don't want that. Let's start import at row 3 at China. That's the first one. And we can go with tab or space. Basically what it's asking here is how do we know where the different columns are? So we can say next. And now, yeah, something's, oh, okay. It's, all right, again, it still shows the first 2 columns even though we started at 3. Okay, yeah, so we'll make this general, we'll make this country text. But you see, there's still problems here because this column here, I guess we have to import them all as text to start off with because this has, some of this is population, some of this is like China's 1 word, but United States is 2, and that's going to cause some problems. And oh, no, I'm not going to say this in text format, so don't worry. Yeah, so that's not really going to work. We would get the same thing, by the way, if we go back to our original text document. So another way we can do this, if I highlight this and I go to data, text to columns, and we'll get basically the same, it's basically another way of doing the same thing. Do we want to use, I don't think using tab or not makes a difference. We'll just use space. And we're just going to make everything general and click finish. There's no other way we could do it because I can't make, this is the population, but I can't make it a number because it's got words in here. Okay, so this is going to be trickier. Let's make this, ranking is not an issue here. Oh, except we have several, it's several pages, and we can't have pages here, so we're just going to remove those extra headers. And what is this? I don't recall this. Eritrea. Oh. It's a country with no people. I will leave it off the list. Sorry, if you're from that country, my deepest apologies. But I mean, I guess we could leave it in and say 0, but okay. All right. Now, the rest of this, we still have a problem because some countries their names take up 2 columns. So it looks like none of them go beyond column D. So I'll tell you what, let's take the population here and we're going to move it out by 2. Insert columns. Okay, that looks good. Now, I wonder if we can just take the words from this column. Oh, I can't. Okay. Fine. We'll just move the populations to the right then. Shouldn't be. Oh, actually, we have to move them all the way out here, don't we? All right. Yep. See, this is, it's not always clean. Sometimes you got to import these things, and you got to make some manipulation. We saw that in the importing from Excel video, and this really is kind of now an extension. Oh, I didn't mean to. This is kind of an extension of that, isn't it? We don't need to keep these. And then cut, copy. This will be a nice one, nice group. Here, here, here. Okay, so we're now done moving we didn't cut these. We're done moving the populations over. I wanted to move these over to the right because what's going to happen is with the country names, we want to get these to the left here so we can concatenate them. All right, so in other words, let's see. Let's take all of these, for example. I'll keep going until, okay. These are all blanks. So let's say delete shift cells left. Oh, that does it for the population too, doesn't it? That's okay. You know what? Let's just take these Move those to the left. Maybe that's easier. Rather than taking the population with us. Okay. Okay, so that's already set. Note here, these we should have erased. And we just want to make sure these are lined up. What? There we go. Better. Sierra Leone. And we can do here. And I'll just continue doing this, and again, I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, we're back. It looks like we have all of our all of the multi-word countries in consecutive columns. Let's move the population over here. Oh, it's not 11 people. It's 11,000 people, of course. Population in thousands. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do here, let's get rid of this. I'm not sure why they put a comma here. Let's just put country. And we're going to make this population. Like that. And what we're going to do here, actually I should put the country here. What we're going to do is we're going to combine columns B, C, D, and E. Actually, I don't think there's any, oh, there is stuff in E. Okay. Nothing in F though, right? Oh, there is. Ah, okay. Fine. We'll put the, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do equal. We're going to type in a formula called concatenate, and we're going to do B2. Make sure we put spaces in between. C2 space, D2 space, E2 space, F2 space. Oh, we don't need a space after F2. Okay. So most of this is, let's see, stretch this out. Looks good. It'll serve our purposes anyway. Okay, I don't want to delete these columns because this column is made from those. So what I want to do, I want to take this, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to right click here, I'm going to paste, but I'm going to paste values. I don't want to paste this. So I paste this, you see this reference error? Because it has nothing to refer to. I'm pasting formulas that have no columns to refer to. So make sure you do values. And that's it. Now we can, looks like we can delete the rest of this. We're done with that. Country and population. And there we have it. So we have something that is now ready for import, and I'm going to name, I have to name these because when we import them into Access, it's going to ask us to choose a sheet. And so I want to make sure these are recognizable. I don't know, I'm not going to know what sheet 2, if we had 5 of these, I'm not going to remember what sheet 5 is, right? So let's just population. All right, now finally we're ready to open up Access, so let's do that. So let's get that, oh, I forgot it was on the other screen. Okay. So now we're in our new Access database here, so we're going to go back to external data. We did this for Excel before, so really, at this point, it's the same process as from the Excel video. I mean, you can see there's a PDF or XPS, and maybe we'll try that for kicks at the end of this video, but yeah, you got to be careful with that because, I mean, if there's any any intricacies, let's say, in the formatting, it could come out really weird. That's why I don't like to use that. I always like to use Excel or text as the intermediary. From file. Let's try this again. Import. Yeah, we're not going to do a link table. We'll just do this as regular. See, okay, so see, we got the worksheets. Here's the hockey one. Here's the population one. This is why I had to name those sheets. Let's start with the hockey one. That's pretty straightforward, it looks like. Okay, so again, I think we saw this before in the Excel video. I think we may have some excess columns. Yeah, we ended up getting some excess columns at the end. That's not a big deal. First row contains column headings. It does. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've done this before. But here's the short text. Player number, we'll make that integer. We probably make it byte, actually. Short text. Make this integer. Born. Oh, recognize that as a date because we made it a date. That's going to be text. And it looks like we got one more column here. That's probably what the problem was. We ended up with an excess column. That problem may even be worse than the population because remember we had to create and remove several columns. I'm just going to say do not import and be done with it. I'll let access add a primary key. Not going to go too into depth, but see now we have our hockey table, and we have ID. Could have gotten by jersey number, but if you're if you're importing multiple teams, that's not going to work. So there we have it. There we have our imported data. Okay, so let's do the same thing now with the population. So again, we're going to go to new data source from file, Excel. We're going to pick the same file. And this time we'll do the population one. And I'll bet we have a lot of, well, let's see. We're going to get that message again. Oh, I guess not. Okay, we cleaned up our columns this time. All right, so first row contains column headings, yes. This is not a very good column name for access, but what the heck. Just recognize that. Ranking, I think we could use that as a key. United country, population. We're going to want a long integer for that one because we got millions here. Text. I think that works. We'll use ranking as the primary key. Why not? Import the table population. And it looks like everything imported successfully. We don't have the problem we had in the Excel video. I mean, the Excel video was made deliberately to give you data that wouldn't import well. This is, at this point, once we've made the Excel files, I mean, the hard part was not the importation of Excel, but getting the Excel to begin with. Once we got that, everything else was straightforward, you can see. Okay, so this shows you that data can come from so many different places. If you have an application, for example, where you want zip codes, you could download a database of zip codes. Don't sit there typing in every zip code for every. I don't think too many people would do that. But I would say most data you bring into an application, at least for I would say a good portion of it is data that you import from elsewhere rather than simply typing it in. And again, from a user standpoint, we've said this before. Users of the database should have as little access to the table as possible. So you would want to make a form if you wanted to import or edit more data than this. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. We hope this video was all the help you needed for your Access database. If you are struggling to create an Access database that does what you need it to do, and just want someone to make that happen for you, that is the business we are in. Our contact information is below the video. You can reach out to us, and we will work with you to determine how long it will take and how much it will cost to get your database up and going. If the time and cost are acceptable to you, WSI will get to work and make your database vision a reality. Perhaps Microsoft.NET or MS SQL Server would be the better choices for your new database, so it can run on your Windows desktop or anywhere in a web browser. WSI will help you make this determination if you like. Again, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe.